what's incredibly frustrating about it is like Sam Seder is, by Ethan's own admission, designed as a person, like brought into the community as a person that Ethan respects, that Ethan actually appreciates the opinion of. That's part of the reason why I wanted Ethan to talk to Sam initially, in private, by the way, not like in public. This idiot thinks you do drama, not real news. I mean, sometimes I do have a penchant for drama, let's be real. Like when I saw this, the H3H3 subreddit flips so fast on Sam Seder, you get whiplash. Sam calling in, finally, an adult to talk to. I'm so glad that Ethan is talking to him before Hassan. Now we can get in all his actual policy positions and have plenty of clips of Sam agreeing with them to use against Hassan. Chef's kiss, it's going to be beautiful. There were people who literally thought Ethan would be able to use Sam Seder against me. Like there were people who were saying, oh, wouldn't it be great if Ethan Sam Seder's Hassan? And now officially they have jumped ship. Okay. I don't care. Then why are you on the podcast? Sam Seder, bruh. I take back everything I said about him being reasonable and willing to listen. What a scumbag. Everything I heard about him appears to be a lie, because what the f is this behavior? I think this is just Stam behavior, right? Like they have no, like they have no real political opinions. They've just like completely lost their minds. They think like if someone is against, they think that if someone is against daddy, like not everyone, but anyone and everyone at this point, like Ethan could like argue with, I don't know, like Ethan could argue with Kamala Harris being like, no, we wanted to continue doing the genocide. And they'd be like, Kamala Harris is wrong. She didn't want to do the genocide actually. I don't know. But there's also some positives, I guess, where apparently some people were also realizing, please, nobody go and bother Sam. We don't need more of a reason for everybody to hate it, that they had a good convo. Ethan is not being introspective at all. It's disappointing, but I'm glad this conversation happened. Sam explained that most Zionists are not Jews, which is true. Sam Seder wasn't here to talk about Hassan, and he didn't want to speak for Hassan, so I feel like it made sense. What about Palestine? I think poll Sam mentioned was a pretty important point. From what I understand, if most Israelis don't care about the Palestinian people, then the war will continue. Ethan is so pressed about Hassan, but nobody else is. That's why Sam didn't want to have that conversation. I truly don't understand what's wrong with this clip. I'm going to be honest, chat. I'm even more terrified for Friday Now, Lamau. I feel like Ethan, all lives matter in this situation. Why can't he talk about the Palestinian pain without mentioning Israelis and American Jews? I think for us who don't have a clear understanding of what Zionism means, anytime Ethan defends the Israeli people, it comes off as Zionism. I think I still don't fully understand the definition, to be honest. Sam said they don't care, not they want them to die. And guess who caused that? Sam is saying Israelis are very complacent with the death of Palestinians. That's not saying they're evil and want their blood. I'm saying that if they die, they die, and that they've really dehumanized. The problem with the Hassan clip is that you didn't build a concise bridge between Hassan himself conflating Zionism with Judaism and all Israeli people. And that's what Sam thinks you're doing instead. Yeah, that is a problem with the Hassan clip, because I've never done that, because I don't believe that, and I've done the exact opposite of that, and Sam knows that. So that's precisely why he didn't step on that landmine. Not because he's like, in my pocket or something, but because when adults that are knowledgeable on issues like this, when they encounter someone who is not so knowledgeable on an issue like this, that's hopped up on just the fuck Hassan juice, like the unlimited amount of fuck Hassan juice, they have a very different reaction. This should have been a breaking point for so many people. This should have been a breaking point for a lot of people to go, wait, maybe we're in a hug box. Maybe we've lost our minds. Instead, there's also apparently this. Uh-oh, Sam is Hassan's token Jew. Token Jew energy. I guess really is his token. I wouldn't be surprised if Sam is Hassan's token Jew. Sam's the token. I get it now. Why is the token Jew law? I swear Sam is actually Hassan's main tokenized Jew. That's so gross, dude. How do these people not realize that this is like actual anti-Semitism? Ethan Klein is creating actual anti-Semitism in his own community. What I don't understand is why people in this community are this invested. Like people in Ethan's community should not be this invested in this issue. They should be there to be entertained and also to learn, right? This is supposed to be a learning moment. And what I genuinely can't comprehend is why there's like not even a little bit of introspection. Like I understand why Ethan wouldn't engage in introspection. He's dug his heels in, but you're an anonymous person who's just a member of the pod. So these guys that are saying stuff like this, it makes sense. Like this is a little bit of introspection from some in the paid membership side. And I'm glad that like this worked. This is part of the reason why I wanted to talk to Ethan, because I don't think he's going to be charitable to me at all after a year of being insanely uncharitable and smearing me to his audience. The only method out of this is just to basically double down. What's incredibly frustrating about it is like Sam Seder is, by Ethan's own admission, designed as a person, like brought into the community as a person that Ethan respects, that Ethan actually appreciates the opinion of. That's part of the reason why I wanted Ethan to talk to Sam initially, in private, by the way, not like in public. I said, you can do it in private, you can do it in public, but I really think you should talk to him. And the reason why I had said that is because I thought Sam could have like a normal, polite conversation that would cause Ethan to engage in introspection. When I initially suggested this, I thought he still had the capacity to self-reflect. Ethan is a nice guy. I am sure talking is on the table. First of all, we are going to have a conversation on Friday, but if you think that it's on his end, especially, not going to be a desperate knife fight to try to directly smear me to my face as I try to explain away the context of all the clips that he is like lined up with him going, la, 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 I can't hear you. I don't know what to tell you. Just like I called that he wrongly assumed that Sam would agree with him and that he could basically farm some clips off of that to use on this Friday conversation that he was supposed to have with me. And it didn't happen in the way that he thought it was going to. It didn't go down like that. I'm telling you right now, he's going to most likely not try to find reconciliation. I don't know why you're humoring him, bro. It's going to be a cynical attack. I know what I'm doing, because even amongst the cynical attacks, there will be an opportunity for me to break through to at least some people. You know what I mean? These are not actually all going to be like, not everyone in Ethan's audience, they're just stands. A lot of these people are just stands. There's Destiny orbiters and whatever, but like most of these people are just stands. Okay? I think that some of them will recognize the disparity between how I've been presented versus who I actually am. Okay? That's it. That's what I believe. Just as I always tell you, if they have these, if they've been baited by clips, if they think that I'm like this fucking asshole, this bad person or whatever, all it takes is for them to spend some time in here and just like have a crumb of charity. Okay? If they have a crumb of charitability and they just spend a little bit of time in here, they will realize that they've mostly been fucking duped by clips. I don't think these guys are as invested in Zionism as Ethan is, or at least functionally defending Zionism as Ethan is. Okay? The real remaining H3 stands are HR reps and accountants in their 30s. They recognize Ethan's wrongdoings. Yes. There are definitely people still in there that are just like repeating stuff because they're not very knowledgeable. Okay? Like, you also forget that like when you have a giant community, like there's constantly a lot of people. There's constantly a lot of new people coming in. So there's probably people that have been watching since like for the last 5 months or so. You know what I mean? That just like came in randomly, accidentally, and we're like, oh, I guess we fucking hate this Hassan guy. I don't really know anything, but he seems really evil. Because the reality of the matter is, like, Ethan doesn't do the same thing that like the free press does, right? Half the time when right-wing outlets present what I'm saying, or outlets that are pro-Israel are presenting what I'm saying, they just show the full context. And when they show the full context, that makes it really fucking hard to disparage if you are maybe in the margins on this issue, or maybe even sympathetic to the Palestinian side. It requires a lot of disingenuous clipping and context removal to basically, a lot of disingenuous clipping and context removal to basically present me as like this bad person, especially if you're like even remotely sympathetic to the Palestinian plight. I can make a convincing case for that. That's what I do. This is my job, because it's the truth. I'm new, I'm a Jew, and I thought you were a bad guy from news/H3, and I'm 100% on your side. See, there are plenty of people like this. It says following since 2022. Get out of here. You are not new. You duped me, son of a bitch. Motherfucker's been following since 2022. I'm new here. And as a Jew, I thought you were a bad guy. Actually, maybe he might be new. I don't know, because he says, what did Destiny do? I'm out of the loop. Maybe he is just like, he just followed a long time ago, but never actually followed. I don't know. Or never actually tuned in. I rarely go on Twitch and didn't really follow anyone. Yeah, that makes sense. I disagree. I feel like this demographic must be young as fuck. Dude, if you think a young demographic is not tuning in to if you think a young demographic is tuning into Ethan's frequency of being like, well, Palestinians have brought about this death on themselves from Israel, you are out of your fucking mind. No, I think that the remaining like actual Ethan fans are, that other chatter was correct. They're like 30-year-old women that work at HR and stuff that just like genuinely love Ethan and want what's best for him and see this as like a situation where this person is unjustly maligned by everyone in an anti-Semitic fashion, and it is all egged on by me, the singular force, the brain breaker. I have hypnotized everyone. I am paying all for all of these articles, like all of this stuff, and they just go along. They go along with everything he says. Only people who watch E are mostly millennials. I was one of them, so I know exactly. Yeah. They also, yes, you're right about this. They also want to think he's still progressive and pro-Palestine, so they don't have to feel bad about it liking his show. That is a part of this too, I think. No. His demographics are actually majority 25 to 37 years old, and he feeds their quarter qualm that sets them apart from their 3 years younger coworkers. Yeah. Yeah, I looked into one of those people starting email campaigns against you, and it was like a 33-year-old lesbian art therapist. September 26, 2022, he said his audience was 60% female, 40% male. No, I believe it. I do believe it. I think these people can be saved, is my point. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. Ethan, you don't need AI. I've summarized the debate. This shit sucks. Why is Ethan bald? What's up with the nose? Yeah, the nose is whack. OP responded to me about this. I wouldn't exactly say he's in the clear. Jesus, chill with the nose. So, guys, you guys just upvote anti-Semitic comics over here while criticizing a discussion about anti-Semitism. Sam's got a big nose. I got a big nose too. Am I being racist against myself for drawing my PFP? And Ethan is also Jewish, or did you forget? Does Sam have a big nose? What the fuck? That's crazy. Like, this is the type of shit. This is literally the type of shit that, like, I think this is not, like, I don't think this person was doing this intentionally. I don't think this person was, like, being intentionally anti-Semitic or something, okay? But, see, that's charity on my behalf. And, you know, in a role reversal type situation, I promise you that charity would not be extended to me, okay? This also happened in America after 9/11. Not that it's right, but it happens. Check out their predictions. The point that needs to be made is that it's okay to debate and disagree. Fighting should be about how Hassan and his community enable harassment. I appreciate Sam's perspective. There are a number of points I agree with him on, and some I agree with Ethan. I don't even blame Sam for deflecting on the clip of Hassan and giving him, in my opinion, too much grace. Is he giving me too much grace, or does he understand what I was saying? Instead of like focusing on like the worst possible interpretation. They agree that Israel is genocidal. They agree that as a country, U.S. should cut off support. They disagree, each with conclusive evidence, that the Israeli population supports peace. Okay. There were other points too, but these were important ones. And if you 100% agree with Ethan, is Sam deserving of harassment? Absolutely not. And if you 100% agree with Sam, is Ethan deserving of harassment? Absolutely not. Well, I don't think Ethan is deserving of harassment either. I just want him to stop harassing me. And this is the problem with Hassan. He's completely comfortable with platforming bad empanada, characterizing Ethan as a genocide supporter, and ignoring the harassment and anti-Semitism in his community. Sam did not agree that advocating for Kamala was a correct thing to do either. Also, yeah, that was the other side of it. That was like such a fucking lie. That was such a ridiculous fucking lie, which was, I mean, there's so many different lies. Number one, what is this? As an Irish person, Americans need to stop endorsing the IRA. I've noticed recently, since the Israel-Palestine war, people like Hassan and now Sam are trying to justify Hamas actions by comparing to groups like the IRA. Do they not realize that the IRA has been considered by the Irish government as an illegal and paramilitary group for most of its history? I know, right? Completely lost me when the IRA was brought into this, the way after the first attempt failed. As far as I can tell, the IRA during the Troubles was a net negative for the cause of Irish unification. Sam using them as an example of positive political violence is also funny since they failed in their goal. Northern Ireland is still Northern... Oh my God. Oh my God. British people should be barred from speaking. I think they should just not be allowed. This person has to be British. These people are not Irish Republicans. We have fascists in Ireland too. No, I know. Trust me. I see the anti-immigration protests and stuff like that. And Conor McGregor obviously is another one. Lol, Sons of Ulster in the comments. Ethan also made people lose the plot by continuing using dog walker. Dog catcher is a perfect analogy because it's a person put in power by a government to round up dogs and often send them for execution. Yes, it's also an old school terminology that I unfortunately repeated that Felix Biederman had brought up. I was referencing Felix Biederman as I mentioned in the fucking in the clip. Like, you shouldn't elect someone with pro-Israel sympathies to the lowest position possible, lowest publicly appointed position possible, the position of dog catcher, because that person might inevitably use that fucking power, that fractional power that they have, to literally do some fucked up shit. This is not about being Jewish at all. Give Felix credit. I did in that clip. You literally hear me say, as Felix said. I try to bring Felix into it all the time because like I want Ethan to yell at him because that would be like a gift for Felix. You know what I mean? Like I want to give that to him as a gift, but Ethan for some reason never actually bites on that. Like Felix wants Ethan to yell at him so bad. Okay. He has talked about it so much at this point, both publicly and privately. And so I just keep slamming Felix Biederman into these conversations and Ethan never attacks him. And I don't know why. Ethan always ignores Felix. And it's funny because like Felix has bad empanada level posting prowess. Do you think Ethan would ever talk to Felix? I mean, considering how he talked to Sam Cedar and what that looked like with like the gentlest of nudges, I think if he talked to Felix, he would melt. His brain would melt on the spot. Like, look at these motherfuckers. It was clear. That's why Hassan chose Sam as his own Candace Owens. He hates his own people. The Ethan debate effect is hitting hard on Stan. What effect? Where Ethan comes in calm and somehow the other person finds a way to start yelling and dodge all of Ethan's points. Destiny described Ethan as a drunken master when it comes to debates. Yeah, Destiny also described Ethan as an R-worded moron. That was before he decided to use him. That's the other super funny part about this whole process is that like Ethan has found himself aligned with people that have literally farmed him for tens of millions of views. Like that Oreo guy or all of the drama slop tubers used to fucking despise Ethan. They made videos about Ethan all the fucking time. They farmed him like they try to farm me, right? And yeah, Nicholas eat Oreo. Like, and what's hilarious about it is that like he's not even thinking that like these guys that literally were constantly coming after me are now on my side. There's nothing weird about this, right? Like, no, this is just normal, right? If he thinks you're an anti-Semite, I don't want to know what Felix is to him. Yeah, Felix is the Pope of anti-Semitism. Like, look, Kneecap statement. Taking this opportunity to say this, our podcast proudly endorses all of the super weapons from every Ace Combat being tested on Israel every city. This is a joke. Felix Biederman is Jewish. He says stuff like this because he hopes that one day. He says stuff like this because he hopes that one day all of these people that fucking make it their lives mission to constantly come after me and try to get me deplatformed will at least try, will focus their attention on him. It never happens. I don't know why. He has the jester's privilege. He has the poster's privilege. I do really, really, really badly want to see what that would look like though. Like I don't know how that encounter would look. I need to see it happen. If Felix was still in Los Angeles, I would 100% have him sit by me and vape away as that conversation was taking place, just so he could get a feel of it. You know what I mean? Say Felix is worse than bad empanada. Felix is sometimes worse than bad empanada. Yeah, he's saying your take falsely is that Jews don't deserve jobs for ever having positive sentiment towards the Israeli state, when your take is that Zionists, regardless of religion or ethnicity, do not deserve a place in government. It's really disingenuous framing of the clip. Yeah, of course. And it wasn't even my take initially. It was Felix's take, as I mentioned in the clip. But I mean, I stand by it. As Ethan said, I double down on it. Yeah, I don't want any motherfucker to just use whatever fractional power they have to be like, yeah, we have to. Look. There's a reason why you'll have like a lieutenant governor's race in fucking Chicago, okay, get taken apart because the lieutenant governor at one point said like they think Palestine should be free. And if you think what I'm saying is wrong, that is a real thing that happened. That's a real thing that happened, I believe in like 2018 or was a lieutenant governor's race in Illinois, in the state of Illinois. A dude from Chicago had actually that was up for the gubernatorial race as a lieutenant governor. You and Ethan agree on this? Wait, what? Okay. Yeah, I guess that's I think Ian and Uncle Sam have more they disagree on than they think. Wait, no. I think Uncle Sam is very aware of the disagreements. He was just being as nice as possible, and Ethan still fucked it up. Yeah, here. Israeli lobby forces progressive out of Illinois governor's race. Pressure from the Israel lobby has forced a promising progressive politician out of the 2018 Illinois governor's race. Only a week ago, there was much grassroots excitement around Carlos Ramirez Rosa, a member of Chicago City Council, was named as a running mate of Democratic gubernatorial hopeful State Senator Daniel Biss. Ramirez Rosa, who was a Bernie Sanders delegate during last year's Democratic Party convention, is a member of DSA. His selection was also a nod in the growing political role of Illinois' Latino population. Ramirez Rosa represents a diverse majority Latino ward in Chicago's northwest side. But that support, so basically what happened is DSA has seen a huge surge in membership. And just last month, the socialist grassroots organization overwhelmingly endorsed the BDS movement, the BDS campaign for Palestinian rights, boycott, divestments, and sanctions on the state of Israel. But that support for Palestinian rights has come up against the hard reality of Israel's lobby, continued grip on elite sections of the Democratic Party. While I was honored to be chosen as Senator Daniel Biss's gubernatorial running mate, it became clear over the past few days that while we share a total commitment to peace, security, and statehood for Israeli and Palestinian people, and both oppose pursuing BDS at the state level, the difference of opinion we have on the role of the BDS movement plays at the federal level would make it impossible to continue moving forward as a ticket. Ramirez Rosa appears to be indicating that he does not contest the first-in-the-nation anti-BDS bill passed by Illinois in 2015, but does oppose pending federal legislation, the Anti-Israel Boycott Act, which, by the way, was what Bernie Sanders and Dianne Feinstein was against. What's crazy is he was also fucking not contesting the anti-BDS bill in Illinois, which he should have been, okay? And I'm sure if you were to ask him now, he probably had a different take on it. But, like, why does that even exist to begin with? Yeah, that's because it doesn't matter, regardless of fucking background. People that are like, no, unconditionally pro-Israel will use every fucking power they have to do insane shit like this. That is precisely the reason why AIPAC plays a major role in undermining American democracy and spending millions of fucking dollars. Hello? Ethan agrees with everything that sounds good on the surface level and disagrees on any action based on said principles. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? What are we actually talking about? What is this? Like, what? How is this in any way, shape, or form acceptable? Can you read my last message? Regarding what Ethan said yesterday about Mandela, here's a quote from him in Talks of Palestine. Choose peace rather... I know. Alexa, I already covered that. I already posted about it on my on my Twitter as well. Yes, I have repeatedly talked about the whitewashing of Mandela's history. And weirdly enough, no one asked the question why Mandela went to prison to begin with, which is so fucking crazy. He went to prison because he went to Algeria and got arms training, okay? And the reason why he did that was because he started a separate militant division within the ANC called MK. I'm not going to say the name because it's too hard for me to say. I'll fuck it up. Okay. And that armed militancy engaged in, militant actions, sometimes against civilians. And he went to jail. He went to prison. And they came to him twice. They came to him twice when he was in prison. And they said, hey, you want to get out of prison? You have to denounce violence and denounce socialism. Okay, those were the two demands that they made. The first time, he said, how can we even have, how can you act like I'm in any position to negotiate with you when I'm imprisoned by you? Second time, he said, no, I'm not going to denounce violence. It's so fucking weird. Like, why are you lying about history? Why does no one ever fucking care? That's frustrating. That's what's so frustrating about this is that it doesn't make any sense that people just don't even turn around and say like, hey, I don't know if that's true. Like no one is even remotely intellectually curious as to why Nelson Mandela was in prison to begin with. What do you think happened? They were just like, oh yeah, you're a black, so you're going to jail. Is that what? I mean, that was part of it, certainly. The guy that tells people stuff is haram is going off. What? I don't care about this shit. The thing is that the way that the West discusses political violence is trapped by just war approaches that make its moral legal appraisal dependent on racialized, colonial, gendered class power dynamics so that anti-colonial violence is simply seen as bad/unjust. This is because discourses on political violence are dominated by notions of just war that trace their roots to the medieval European warfare. It is state-centric and Eurocentric. They usually fully erase colonial experiences from their theoretical framework. These epistemologies of innocence, to quote Charles Mills, are very common in Western political philosophy. The West tells stories about itself where colonialism and racism are simply part of the landscape. There is no European agency in their deployment. Wait, what? Popular Resistance had a pretty balanced take on this from back in 2013. Nelson Mandela addressed a crowd of about 50,000 people from a balcony. Mandela's utilitarianism and the struggle for liberation. Thus, we can study Kant's perpetual peace while comfortably ignoring that he never envisioned any racialized society as worthy of such peace, or study Locke's social contract without learning that he did not believe it applied to savages in Africa. Just war is the same. When is war just? Oh my God, don't ever hear what Kant had to say about black people or how he thought black people were created. Oh my God. Worst mistake of my life. He thought that black babies turned black when getting out of the black mother's vagina. Like they were white in the womb inside of the body of a black woman. And then while they were getting pushed out, they would just like turn black. Their skin would turn black. Can't believe that black people were so talkative that they must be driven apart from each other with thrashings. Grog, is this true? Just war is the same. When is war just? When it fights off aggression, but aggression here by design excludes the aggression of the colonizer over the colonized. Thus, Ukrainian resistance is uninspiring, but Palestinian resistance is terrorist. This is so regardless of the actual conduct of said resistance. When Amnesty documented 19 instances of Ukrainian troops being stationed nearby civilians in ways that violated the international human law, it was shunned to such an unshootable literal apology. When unarmed Palestinians in Gaza marched towards the Israeli border in peaceful protest demanding an end to the siege, they were gunned down with live fire. In one day, the IDF killed 16 people and injured 1,000. And these aren't baby injuries. These are like shooting off people's kneecaps, okay? When people say wounded, I think a lot of people think like, oh, they got a boo-boo. Like, no, they got irreparable damage that will change, that will alter the trajectory of their lives in perpetuity, okay? We're talking legs off, like completely fucking crippled, maimed. Anyway, political violence understood through the war, by the way, which Ethan also justified when talking to Sam, but I think Sam was Sam was so overwhelmed, I think, by Ethan's insanity that he did not address that as much, and he just kind of moved on from it. But Ethan justified the IDF action. He said that the Palestinians were actually trying to break the Gaza boundary and that they were trying to attack the fence. No. 16 murders in one day. In one day. The total number was like 200 plus. I don't think he believes what he told Sam.
So let's say 10,000 Jews are members of Jewish Voices for Peace. And they tour all around the country, showing up at every like pro-Palestinian protest or whatever the fuck they're doing, and they just they parade them around like here's one of the good Jews. It's 10,000 people of 6 million in America, and part of the disgusting propaganda that they do is that
is it just 10,000 people? Also, the real question is, shouldn't you be a part of that 10,000 people? Because you seem like you want to claim as though you're a part of the 10,000 people. I just don't understand it, you know?
That they pretend, they try to convince everybody that this is that this represents the Jewish majority, but it's not. Not anyway.
It's
whatever.
Not, does not represent it.
I'm absolutely confident that JVP has never even once held themselves up as representing a majority of Jewish people. Their assertion is that simply non-Zionist and anti-Zionist Jews do in fact exist. Israelis chiming in to agree with Ethan that the Jewish community is in fact pro-genocide. Least genocidal H3H3 fan. JVP are fucking traitors. Liberalism have corroded their brains and destroyed their identity, even if they're even Jews. Anyways, Kahan was right. Like, I don't think Ethan Klein knows who the fuck Mayor Kahan is. Okay, he'd be like, what is that, an ice cream? That's the problem here. There are definitely members in his community that do and like that he is basically being played as a vector of misinformation, as an unlimited faucet that will create new pro-Israel populations from all the drama-loving girlies, all the tea girlies. Yes, mom showed the poop sock. I know, I got it. It's very funny when you send me when mom find the poop sock. Like, think about that. Motherfuckers named Kahanas Weeb are over here defending Ethan Klein. Like, that is crazy. That's a terrorist, dude. Like, what the fuck? That's more of a terrorist than Hamas, okay? Straight up. You pulled out that 10,000 number out of nowhere, pull up their website. They say how many members? 765,000 members and supporters. I mean, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many people are in JVP. It wasn't the mom. It was some random fucking Gazan lady. Ethan Klein, pro-Palestinian ally, respecter of the deceased. Bro, what happened to this guy about a year ago? He was crying over the genocide in Palestine and saying it was wrong. People in his own audience called him a racist after he compared Free Palestine to the swastika and the Confederate battle flag, and he absolutely lost his mind. That's fun. I mean, that's literally that's an incredibly concise way to describe exactly what took place. In any case, it's Victory Day. And what do I mean by this? We are talking about violent resistance against colonial occupation, violent resistance against American colonial occupation, American imperialist occupation. The country I'm talking about is Vietnam.